Hey, it's me, Brianka J. I'm back with more of the celebration of Black History during Black History Month, and I want to talk about an essay written by Zora Neale Hurston, which is called "What Publishers Won't Print." Before we get into it, though, make sure you smash that subscribe button and show the world how much we are still here reading and enjoying literature and being introduced to new literary analysis, essays, short stories, and thought-provoking literature in its entirety. If you like what you hear and you want to get to know me better, make sure you binge watch all my videos. I have a ton. And that was ghetto. That was ghetto. Okay. Your girl's camera failed. But we good. I might not even edit that out. So smash the subscribe button. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe on this video. Let me know what you loved the most, what really moved you about what I talked about, and let's get right into it. So, What Publishers Won't Print is by Zora Neale Hurston. If you're not familiar with Hurston, I will give you just a little bit of context. She was from 1891 and 1960. And what's interesting about her is that she is considered to be one of the beginning writers of the Harlem Renaissance, but found herself blackballed when she made notions that she didn't really think that the Black culture would be moved in any positive way by assimilation into white society. And she kind of stood on it. She was just like, I think that the stories of Black people and the culture of Black people, all of that is so beautiful. And if we were to assimilate, we would only kind of get washed away and we would find ourselves struggling even more than we are. And she really wanted to she kind of believed in what she believed in, and it led to her being blackballed. And for a long time, a lot of her works remained in obscurity up until, I believe, Henry Louis Gates did his research and her works were resurfaced, and we got beautiful works like Their Eyes Are Watching God and a ton of other short stories, which you can find on my page because, I love that book, Hitting a Straight Lick with a Crooked Stick, and I've read a few of her stories here. But today we're going to discuss one of her more serious pieces, which is an essay she wrote. And it's called What White Publishers Won't Print. And today, instead of reading it to you, I'm going to just tell you the summation of it and then what my thoughts are in connection to what she says. And I might come back and share the entire essay with you guys another day. But for the sake of time, let's just keep it short. Okay, so What White Publishers Won't Print. We have this woman, this Black writer, who is constantly submitting to different publishers and theaters and all of this stuff. And with that, she's getting so many rejection letters. And she's seeing a theme, and she's seeing a thematic recurrence come about with these publications. And what she's seeing is that, verbatim, she says, national coherence and solidarity is implicit in a thorough understanding of the various groups within a nation. And this lack of knowledge about the internal emotions and behavior of the minorities cannot fail to bar our understanding. Man, like all other animals, fears and is repelled by that which he does not understand, and mere difference is apt to connote something malign. So she discusses that for a long time, what we learned about Black history or Black people was coming through these stories that portrayed Black people or all minorities. And in fact, she talks about all minorities here. They portray people as less than human. And they are all struck with these really strong stereotypes as the definition of who they are. And because theaters and publishers didn't want to push the envelope, they're there to make money. They're not there to educate. They weren't looking to be crusaders, as she said. Many of them kept publishing these stereotypical works because they knew that's what their audience understood Black people and Jewish people to be, and they didn't want to disrupt the status quo. It's almost like today we have a ton of superhero movies, so the best thing you could do right now is push a superhero movie because you know it's on trend and you know that people are going to buy it. And so because publishers and theater companies and labels are looking to make money, they're not necessarily looking for anything that is going to push past what audiences understand about their country, about their society, about the people that they know. And so she said there are still too many who refuse to believe in the ingestion and digestion of Western culture as yet. Hence, the lack of literature about the higher emotions and love life of Negroes and the minorities in general. So, Black people weren't considered to be people that could love. So, why would we make a romance movie about people in love? That makes no sense. They're Black. That's not important. We can do that with white people because they are capable of these human things. We don't necessarily associate love with Black people, so we wouldn't want to publish a book about or a movie about Black people being in love. It just doesn't, it's not going to sell. And this is something that she says is really rooted in these stereotypes. She says that they will sponsor anything they believe will sell, but they shy away from romantic stories about Negroes and Jews because they feel that they know the public indifference to such works. Unless the story or play involves racial tension, it can then be offered as a study in its sociology, but the romantic side must be subdued. So they can utilize us to discuss things of racism and trauma and slavery, but they're not really looking to humanize us through these acts of love and kindness and family. Like, that's not something that they think is worth publishing because who wants to read it? It's basically the ideology that she's getting from these publishers as she's selling her works. And she talks about, she thinks this comes from a folk belief that assumes that all non-Anglo-Saxons are uncomplicated stereotypes and that everybody already knows everything about them. They are lay figures mounted in the museum or all may take them in at a glance. They're made of bent wires without insides at all. So how could anybody write a book about the non-existent, right? She said they think they know everything about everything we are because it's all on the surface. We're not much deeper than our skin complexion or what you see when you look at us. And therefore, they don't want to involve themselves in creating works that would display it. And she even talks about the American Negro exhibit, which is grouped in two, and they're these mechanical toys, and they have feet that keep shuffling, and their eyes are like popping out. And she says they roll. And she says the characterization is genuine without its monotony. One is he on a stump picking away on his banjo and singing and laughing. The other is most a moral character before a sharecropper's shack, mumbling about injustice. Doing this makes him out to be a Negro intellectual. It is as simple as that. The whole museum is dedicated to the convenient typical. In there is the typical Oriental, Jew, Yankee, Westerner, Southerner, Latin, and even out of favor Nordics like the German, the Englishman, I say old chappie, and the gesticulating Frenchman. The least observant American can know them all at once. However, the public willingly accepts the untypical in Nordics, but feels cheated if the untypical is betrayed in others. Right? So you have to be a typical Chinaman, a typical Jewish person, a typical Black, right? And if you push yourself outside those norms, you're disrupting the status quo, and that's problematic. So that's why she felt like she was having such a hard time getting things published. And then she ended by saying, it is inevitable that this knowledge, she says, the realistic story around a Negro is just not what they want to know because it would push away from those stereotypical beliefs because we are not stereotypes, right? We have more and more layers. And she says, if so happens, it is inevitable that this knowledge will destroy many illusions and romantic traditions which America probably likes to have around. But then we have no record of anybody sinking into a lingering death or finding out there was no Santa Claus. The old world was taken in its stride. The realization that Negroes are no better nor no worse, and at times just as boring as everybody else, will hardly kill off the population of the nation. Literature and other arts are supposed to uphold the mirror to nature. With only the fractional, exceptional, and quaint portrayed, a true picture of Negro life in America cannot be. A great principle of national art has been violated by doing this, and she ends it saying, these are the things that publishers and producers, as the accredited representatives of the American people, have not as yet taken into consideration sufficiently. Let there be light. She wrote this in 1950, and yes, we've come a long way since then. We do have Black romances. We do have movies about Black art and Black success and business and all of these different communities and aspects and desirabilities and characteristics that go on in Black life and Jewish life and Chinese life and everyone else, right? The minority lifestyle has become something worth watching, right? We have Fresh Off the Boat, we have Blackish, Mixish, we have all kinds of things that really just explore the most ordinary of Everybody Hates Chris. It just explores the most ordinary aspects of American life as a minority person. And what that does is humanize all of us, which may speak to why, even if the government or the powers that be aren't moving past things of racial tensions on a day-to-day human level, you can meet people of different racial backgrounds who don't hold these very antiquated beliefs about what it is to be Black or what it is to be white. Now, this is something that we are seeing change right in front of our eyes. I was watching a video by a girl a little bit older than me, and she was talking about her college experience and her white roommate comparing her to Cedar from 106 & Park, and she was like, the only person you can compare me to is this cartoon character. And that was really shocking because for myself, I have had the luxury of meeting different people all over the world, and I've always been able to present myself and represent myself as just a Black woman, and my Americanism has always overcome my Blackness in a lot of those situations. And of course, I'm educated and I'm in these different rooms where it's assumed that I am unique or special in some way. But that doesn't go on to say that we are still, like, we haven't made progress. And I do want to suggest that progress has been made. Are we in a post-racial society? Absolutely not. But are we at a place where we can see ourselves on TV and be humanized, and that humanization is something that is entering into the mosh pit of what we are as Americans? And that by people seeing us in human form, are we receiving a better relationship with our American peers of all races? I would say so, but that is just one person's opinion. I would love to hear what y'all think. Do you think we've made progress since Ms. Hurston wrote this essay in 1950? Or do you think we are still struggling to push past some of those stereotypes? Let me know in the comments. And I will see you tomorrow when we talk about more incredible Black thought and Black theory that is post-slavery, because we are so much more than that. But happy Black History Month. Thank you for being around, and make sure you smash the subscribe button for me, please. Peace.